Yo, what's up bro? Today we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. We'll be talking about the MMORPGs that have shaped the MMORPG genre in Roblox towards what we have today. Of course, these games have raised the bar in terms of what it takes to create an MMO and also pushed what we thought was possible for a Roblox game at their times. For those of you who don't know, I'm a developer, so I will give my opinion from a developer point of view as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. Alright, so the first game on our list is actually Adopt Me.
Oh, hell no, man. What the?
Yo, who put that on the list? Alright, I'm not gonna diss any other games throughout this video, but if I'm being real, bro, that was a trash game, bro. I'm just keeping it real. If you played that game, you might want to have your sanity checked, bro. I'm gonna stop yapping and actually start the video now. So for real this time, for the first game on our list, we're gonna have to go all the way back to 2014, where it all started. In this year, two games would single-handedly prove that the MMORPG genre in Roblox had potential. These games were rather simple, but for their time they were goated, and you might even remember them if you are a true OG Roblox player. The first game is none other than Goradeal RPG 4 by Hashiru. Hashiru, you are goated. I cannot explain the nostalgia I feel when I play this game. Well, more like the recreation of the game, because the game is no longer available, but someone remade it with the original assets and everything. They kinda tweaked the game and it has a lot of bugs, but the essence of the game is still there. The game is your classical RPG and you have classes, and the objective of the game is just, you upgrade your gear so that you can take on stronger opponents. It also has skills specific for each class. There are 4 classes: Defender, which uses a sword and a shield; Berserk, which uses 2 axes; Mage, which uses a wand or a staff; and a Healer, which uses a wand. This game was special for a couple of reasons. I believe this was the first Roblox game to actually implement any source of custom skill system. Before this, you had menus and all that, but once you equipped them, they would pop up in your Roblox inventory as a tool, which felt kind of like lazy work, and it gave all games kind of the same sort of feel in terms of UI. But this game not only created their own slots for displaying their skills, but they also were some of the first people to make a more descriptive menu when it came to skills. They had specific images for each skill, and if you hover over them, then you get a description of what it does, creating a more dynamic menu. Keep in mind, this is all in 2014 in Roblox, where this was like some big thing back then. Also, they were one of the first ones, if not the first ones, to actually implement menu UI animations. Even if they were not the first ones to do this, they certainly solidified it and made it a standard, having some sort of dynamic, decent looking UI for your Roblox games. Granted, they didn't have the best menu, but they got the ball rolling. Also, a lot of RPGs at the time were just that, RPGs, where there was pretty much nothing else to do other than pure roleplay. Here, you could actually interact with the world around you while you roleplayed, and the only other games at the time that I recall that had the same vibe to it were like Dragon Ball games, which were the most played anime games back then, and some of the only anime games back then too. But even those were not even that crazy. Another thing that makes this game stand out is that it was one of the games that pioneered boss fighting in Roblox. Every boss had a different attack pattern, making the game feel incredibly unique at the time. And not to mention that most NPCs on Roblox at that time were just dummies that you could punch, but they wouldn't even attack you back. They didn't even follow you. So this was a massive W for the Roblox MMORPG genre. It's special for being the first one to do a lot of things and do them pretty well. And it possibly inspired the game that came out later that same year, which is the second game on our list, and the game that I'm sure that has a special place in all the hearts of true OG Roblox players. And I'm talking about Swordburst Online by Abstract Alex. Okay, so Swordburst Online, also known as Swordburst 1, this game took everything that Goradeal did to the next level, pretty much putting Goradeal out of business almost overnight. Not only because of how good the game was for its time, but also due to the fact that Sword Art Online had just released the same year, making the game almost an instant success in the platform. This game would be a consistent go-to for all Roblox players looking for adventure or just fighting games in general. I've always been a very big fan of the SAO franchise, and this game did not fail to deliver the same feeling of watching the anime while playing the game. The only thing that the game really missed is skills, but menus, sound effects, even the menu that appears when you get a mob drop, the death animations, death VFX, all of those things are taken directly from the anime or made to look just like in the anime, making it one of the most popular games in Roblox to capture the true essence or vibe of any anime. As I said before, there were other anime games back then, mostly Naruto and Dragon Ball anime games, and they did give somewhat of the same feeling as their animes, but not quite. You had mob fights and also boss fights in Sword Burst 1. This was also a game where you'd have to pair up with teammates more often than not. I remember back then I would gather some people in the server, form a party, and just grind or try to get to the boss. You had to speak with other people if you wanted to get to the boss, because to get there you had to cross a maze full of strong mobs, and also because it'd be quicker and more comfortable than watching a YouTube video. I don't want to spend too much time covering this game since we still have a lot of games to cover, but essentially everything that Gorilla RPG 4 did, this game did a lot better. Before we go to the next one though, let me know if you've played any of these games. Just say in the comment, I want to see how many true OGs we got in here. Alright, so the next games on our list are both released in 2017, and these are two games that, unless you're very new to Roblox, you should have at least heard about them, or they might just sound familiar. Our next big game is none other than the sequel to our previous game, Sword Burst 2 by Abstract Alex. This game was special for one reason mainly, but first I want to say that this game was a direct improvement of Sword Burst 1. It's pretty much the same thing but better. The most notable difference between the two is that Sword Burst 2 has skills unlike its predecessor. The game also features better animations, UI work, models, and more importantly, building, which is the main reason the game's so special for the MMORPG genre. Most other MMOs at the time didn't have decent builds, making them feel kinda dull. You see, from 2014 to 2017, MMOs had the same dull aesthetic, almost Minecraft-like feel to their builds. I believe this was one of the first games of Roblox in general to start paying a little bit more of attention to their world building. This game truly made you feel as if you were in a fantasy world. Essentially, this was one of the first games to really be able to immerse you in their world, which for that time was something that Roblox games really struggled with. I mean, some of them really struggle with this to this day, I'm not gonna lie, but the fact that it's an anime game really helped, since there's like a pre-existing world that we already know of that we can relate to. But even for an anime game, the thing that they did was actually impressive back then. Also, keep in mind, games were a lot more social back then, giving them a whole different experience to the one we have today, where most players won't even reply back if you text them. However, this game was not alone at the top in its era. There was another game that was a direct competitor to this game for years to come. The game I'm talking to is none other than Shinobi Life by Carry Bros, aka Rel Games. Yo, in no other Roblox game have I made more memories than in this one, and I'm sure that a lot of you can say the same thing. I'm not gonna lie, I might be a little based here because Naruto is my favorite anime, but bro, regardless on if your favorite anime is Naruto or not, you cannot deny the impact this game had on Roblox, bro. Like, this was one of the first games to implement spin systems. You know, the gambling aspect that every game has now, like every MMO has like this race system or whatever system. Well, you can probably thank Rel Games for that. Even if they weren't the first ones to do so in the genre, they for sure were the ones that made it popular. I personally think this is something that every game should have. Wait. I know it sounds like I'm promoting gambling, bro, but trust, it's not gambling. Kinda. Anyways, this game is not playable anymore and you probably can't even find it, but the game had a lot of other things that made it special. This was the first game to ever have such a big amount of content, bro. No other Roblox game before this one, and even after this one for a very big time, had so many skills. Like, for you to know how many skills and stuff they made, I wouldn't even bother counting that many they made. And unless you're brain dead, you should see why this makes the game so special. Not only did they cook up a lot of different skills, but they also had a full character customization system. They would really let you be whoever you wanted to be inside that game, or at least that's what it felt like at the time. Not to mention, it also had very good builds for its time. Absolute GOAT of OG Roblox, and I'm not even dick riding, I'm just being real. I really did like this game that much. They pretty much made it almost like a requirement for MMOs that come after it to have customization systems. So many games have this nowadays, and you can also thank Rel Games for that. Gorilla also had this, but not to the extent or the attention to detail that this game had, and therefore they made character customization popular inside Roblox. It wasn't until after this point that we really started to see a lot more anime games have detailed customization systems, or even just customization screens. Alright, so enough with the OG stuff. We gotta start moving on to something a little bit more modern. And for that, we're gonna move to some of the most important years of Roblox, or how I like to think about it, the most important year in Roblox, which is 2019. And here we have 3 games that we're gonna cover. The first of which being World Zero by Abstract Alex. You can say whatever you want about Swordburst 3, Swordburst 2, and Swordburst 1, but you cannot deny the impact this game has had on the Roblox platform as a whole, bro. Alright, let's see. The first thing that stands out when you join the game is their custom character design. Never before in the history of Roblox have we seen something like this done. I believe some people had tried before, but their models either looked weird or they just didn't use their model for any popular games, so most people never even saw them. Pretty much, World Zero made character models and made it look good, giving it somewhat of an anime vibe through the hair and the eyes. Another thing that the game did incredibly well was building. I think every single asset used in this game was made in Blender or any other 3D modeling program. Essentially, the game is entirely made out of meshes, which is something that still to this day, bro, not all games have been able to do. Whether it's because they don't have enough funds, or maybe they don't have enough experience, or maybe it's just too much work. No other game has been able to do this. The overall aesthetic of the game is peak, especially for its time. I bet this gave developers a ton of motivation seeing everything that was possible, leading them to take more advantage of meshes in the platform. And this is something that modern Roblox games just can't live without. Like, you can't make the games without models or their own aesthetic. It's something you just can't run away from anymore. People won't let that slide anymore. And that's a good thing, because that means that the quality of the games that we're gonna get is better, right? This game also had great boss fights, great mob fights, and also it was the first Roblox MMO to include pets or any companion for that matter in their game, and they actually made having pets a fundamental aspect of their game. They really left no potential wasted here. From a developer point of view, this game has very little flaws, and I won't even talk about them because this video is not about that, but it's a great game overall. Still holds pretty good to this day. This was definitely the most important game of that year, but the following games also provide a unique experience for the Roblox MMOs that really hadn't been done before. The next game on our list is Rogue Lineage by Rag. Bro, this game cooked, even though I wasn't able to play the game because I was too broke at the time to afford 200 Robux. Now I'm playing. Probably. I just didn't have anyone to play the game with. I mean, I'd see it in the front page, but I mean, it didn't catch my attention. But looking back, from what I've heard from the people that actually played the game, and they also played the game a long time after it was like released or a long time after its peak, and you just can't deny that Rogue Lineage is the first game of its class, and to this day, the hardcore MMOs is still dominated by the same devs that made Rogue Lineage. If you don't know this game, essentially it's a game where if you die in game, you die in real life. Now I'm trolling. If you die in game, you might lose all your progress in the game, kind of like in Deep Woken, and this adds a completely different feel to any game that has this feature. I mean, just play Minecraft on hardcore mode and you'll see how you cry if you die. I mean, unless you have cheats enabled, but that's for the game looks like a classical OG Roblox game, except it's not. It looks like it, but its mechanics are rather advanced, and they even have a wall climb feature, and that's something that still to this day, as a developer, I have no idea on how to do effectively. The game features a decent amount of content like classes and stuff, and also it kind of forces you to socialize or at least play with friends, since if you're alone, well, let's just say you're gonna get jumped, bro, and it's not even funny. Like, this game's essentially kind of like the predecessor to Deep Woken in a lot of ways, and if you've played Deep Woken before, then you will know that the jumpings in that game are not even funny, bro, especially when there's a hardcore element to the game. The game's still holding on to this day, even with Deep Woken, so that says something, right? And the next game that had a very big impact on MMOs is Starlife by Carrot Bros, now known as Real Games. Starlife is a Star Wars inspired game. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that the third Star Wars trilogy was ongoing throughout these years actually played a crucial role in the game's success. But listen, if I'm being real with you, the game didn't really even come with anything crazy, and it had a decent amount of exploitable glitches that one could take advantage of in combat. Hell, a big part of the combat was who knows the most amount of exploitable glitches. But listen, this game was literally some of the most fun I've had in my life, bro. In its peak, this game was full of people playing it. Today the game is dead, but back then, bro, you see, this is the only game that has such an interactive and dedicated community that the whole entire game, like the whole playing the game, revolved around you interacting with other players. This is a peak example of what happens when you target the right audience for your game. And also on top of that, you make your game just decent enough to be playable and enjoyable. I know I'm making it sound kind of like the devs were mediocre, but I mean, they did get kind of lazy with the updates. But anyways, the whole gameplay of this game pretty much consisted in joining an organization, which were like guilds, and then they would pretty much like quote unquote train you in a way. Why did they train you if you could just exploit glitches and win fights, right? You might be asking yourself that. Well, you see, the game has a lot more than that. Lightsaber combat offered a wide variety of styles and skills that completely changed your playstyle depending on which ones you had. And every single playstyle had different mechanics that you had to learn on top of its own little cheats through glitches. These people would essentially tell you the best way to use your style. They would tell you the best glitches that you could use, and then they would spar with you until you got it right. Sometimes you'd be assigned a specific master for it. Sometimes you had to attend training sessions with other students and masters. And to top it all off, there were also ranks that offered different levels of powers and influence inside each guild. Sometimes guilds would join together, form alliances, form enemies, wars would take place. However, all of this took place behind the scenes. You had to either be looking for these type of guilds, or you had to be lucky enough to be recruited by one. But I mean, it wasn't that hard because there were a lot of organizations, bro. I was luckily recruited for one, but bro, I've had so many good memories inside this game. But yeah, that's essentially it for this game. These were the 3 games that really influenced the MMORPG genre in 2019. And actually, the next game on our list was also made by Rogue Games, and you might be able to guess what it is. Shindo Life, aka Shinobi Life 2 by Rogue Games, published in 2021. A game that proved to Roblox that everything is possible if you put in the work and have the right audience. If you played the game, then you might know that the game even got taken down by Roblox due to Toei Animation threatening Roblox. This of course resulted in the game's instant death sentence, no warnings, no nothing. Bro, this got even the developers in tears, but then they said, nah, we ain't going out like no bitch. And bro, still to this day, I don't really know how they managed to escape Roblox's death sentence. Like for real, no other game in the whole history of Roblox has been able to do that. Not even Pokemon Brick Bronze. Usually if you get a death sentence from Roblox, your game is done. You're not getting it back. You just wasted a whole bunch of money and time. And Pokemon Brick Bronze was actually a very big and important game inside the platform, and not even them were able to escape the death sentence. Now in terms of actual feats of Shindo Life, this game takes everything that made Shinobi Life 1 a good game to a whole other level. The amount of content, like skills, weapons, outfits, customization, bro, it has to be at least 10 times more to that of Shinobi Life 1. This gives players a massive, and when I mean massive, I really do mean massive amount of customization possibilities. Of course, there's always some kind of meta in the game, but there are just way too many skills. Like bro, to the point where it's borderline insane if I'm being honest. They even took inspiration from other animes for their skills, which a lot of people didn't really like, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not gonna lie, the Naruto vibe was somewhat ruined due to everything that happens and all the other anime inspired skills that were not from Naruto. But in my opinion, I think they actually managed to make it work and still make a great game. Now the game is not so popular for being adventurous, but rather for its PvP. Literally, that will be the only reason that people are playing this game. You grind to get a set of moves to then beat the living shit out of your opponents. Bro, no other combo based combat Roblox game has managed to even come close to the amount of combos you can make in this game. And if I'm being honest, I don't even know if it ever will. Like bro, there are just too many skills and mechanics. These devs are crazy, bro. This game serves as a huge inspiration for devs, and they also provide a good gameplay experience. And now, the last game on our list. You might as well call this game the king of Roblox MMOs. Deep Woken by Rag. Deep Woken is another hardcore MMORPG that perfectly represents what MMORPGs are all about. This might be one of the best MMOs you can play, even amongst games outside of the platform. Bro, I've seen people who barely even play Roblox go to play only Roblox for this game. It offers a perfect balance of exploration and combat, both PvP and PvE. And this game pretty much forces you to interact and form alliances with other players, just like Rogue Lineage. Because I'm warning you, the jumpings in this game are worse than in Jujutsu Kaisen, bro. Also, this game is so skill based that one single person can literally kill you and all your homies, even if all your homies have like crazy equipment and movesets. If you're all sped, you're all getting clapped, bro. You're all cooked. I fought some people with all my homies in this game and they have really pulled an Uno reverse card on us. Some of them be pulling reverse jumpings, bro. Like, some of the players in this game need to touch some grass, bro. Like, what do you even do to get this good at this game, bro? Like, bro, damn, go touch some grass or something. I can smell your stinky ass breath throughout the screen. Like, go take a shower. Alright, I'ma stop yapping now. The game also features decent builds. They went for the classic Roblox aesthetic, kinda, and still managed to pull it off. VFX are simple, but pretty decent and fitting. UI works on point, and core mechanics are really what carry most of the gameplay aspect. But you also have a decent amount of customization options, especially when it comes to your playstyle. They offer different classes that you can get when you start, unlockable classes that you can get as you progress, magic, different weapons, all that good stuff. It also has the most advanced NPC AI I've seen in any Roblox game, and every single boss has a different attack pattern. Truly a remarkable game that you need to test. The Star Wars inspired game that I'm working on right now is heavily inspired in this game, and you need to try out Deep Woken if you like MMOs, especially if you're planning to make an MMO in the future. If you reverse engineer what they've done here and apply it to your dream MMO, you'll be able to boost your chances tenfold. And finally, we've reached the end of the video. Let me know how many of these have you played. Let me know if I missed any other games. Let me know if you want more of these type of videos. And of course, keep leveling up, bro. Be safe, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace.